Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of Profitable Joyful Consulting, and this is a special bonus episode on 2024 planning. I'm going to give you a sneak peek into a recent client event I held called Hit Your Money and Joy Goals in 2024. Now, you're going to want to listen along with this one and perhaps play along at home because I'm asking the kind of questions that we need to be asking in our businesses on a regular basis. Now, this is a annual planning session. So we're really looking at the things that we want to ask on a yearly basis. Like we're projecting a year in advance. But I think they're stimulating questions. They help us to reconnect to our strategies and know like what's working and what's not working and how do we need to course correct. So I think it'll be really interesting for you to hear what these questions are. And if you're a regular listener, then you will probably recognize some of the things that have come up in recent episodes because these are the things that I talk about in terms of how we need to run our businesses to make them more profitable and joyful. You're going to get three big things out of this episode. The first one is reflection. Most business owners and leaders of organizations of all sizes never, ever take a moment to reflect. Most people running around in huge businesses, like my clients who are consultants, will tell me the biggest gift they give to their clients is the opportunity to just be still for a moment and reflect. So give yourself the gift of reflection and take a moment to stop and do this with us. The second thing is intentionality. If we just allow whatever to happen, then it's accidental, like your business is like unfolding accidentally. So when you bring like, no, this is what I want to have happen. This is what I intend for my business. Then things change. You are going to get a totally different result. And that's really what the third thing is. Behavior change. When you bring intention to your business and you've reflected upon what has worked and what hasn't worked, you're going to find that you're going to be different. You're going to be like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to keep my boundaries. I'm going to take action. I'm going to actually do my work before I do client work. You're going to notice that your behavior changes. I hope that you will enjoy the excerpts from this session and stay with us until the end. And I'm going to share with you actually how you can join us for a future one. What do I want? That's the hardest question of all to ask personally. That's just me. Maybe other people have an easier time with that. That's the hardest question for me. Like, what do I want? I'm like, well, what is there? What's good? What do I want? And what lights me up? What is wanted for me? What is the universe offered to me? When you think about what you want, you can get what you want. And by the way, I just want to let you know, you can have what you want. That is possible. And we do that with intention. So today's intention is to provide for you the space, time, and quality of thought and question that will allow for you to get down some of these ideas about what you want to have happen in your life, whatever you want to do. You're powerful and you can make that happen. You are in charge of what you get in your business and in your life. What are your wins from the year? What are your favorite things that happened? I look back at the calendar for this. I also keep business journals, bullet journals, and I'll look back at those. Jot them down. Bullet pointed list. What was profitable? What was joyful? What was both? Or what are you most proud of? I think it's really helpful in being gentle with ourselves. If we had a child who was trying to do a cartwheel or a handstand or something like that, and we watched them try again, but they didn't really get it, we wouldn't say at the end of the week, well, that was a failure. We would say, look at all that time you tried. You haven't got it yet, but you've been really trying hard. And the win would be in the commitment and the effort and the trying and the resilience. So if we only look at wins in our business as like nailed the client and made the money and stuff like that, then we don't really reward ourselves and that inner child part of us that really made an effort to do something. And sometimes we made an effort to do something that completely failed. I have one of those this year, a really big, expensive failure. There's a way in which it's a win. Right? So we're going to look in a minute at our misses, but I want you to really give yourself credit. Like look back at this year. Where did you totally give it your all or really set aside your doubts and try something, even though you can't call this an official win in quotation marks? What do you want to give yourself credit for? And that it was a win over your past self, like how you would have done it before. What's the thing like that you can give yourself, that you can celebrate, that you tried? So we're going to take a second and hold ourselves gently while we take a look at the things that were not as big for us this year. I don't want to call anything a failure. We never lose, we always learn. So what kind of learning experiences did you have? Maybe that you reluctantly learned, unhappily learned, but what just didn't work this year? Didn't work, but you want credit for trying. It was not profitable. It was not joyful. Let's learn from that. Let's not do that again. If it's not profitable, it's not joyful, then we're doing it wrong. So we got to figure out how to do it to where it feels better. Okay, so just take a minute reflecting on what kind of things come up for that. Interestingly, these are very often the things that come to mind faster than the other set. Probably some big stuff comes to mind, unless you're an amnesia person like me, then you black that out. And you're like, oh yeah, I lost like between $12,000 and $15,000 in spring doing a stupid thing. Well, all right. Wasn't stupid. I began it with the best of intentions. I'll learn from that. What did I learn? As we're reflecting on what didn't work this year, wasn't fun, wasn't profitable, and holding ourselves gently and with forgiveness, we did the best we could. We thought we were doing the right thing. Do not let a good lesson go unlearned. Don't have to relearn this. Okay? There's a lot of my life where I feel like, oh, I knew better. And then I did it again, and then I did it again, and then I did it again until I was like, okay, got it. If we can bring to consciousness the first time, or maybe it was the 40th time this year when you tried a thing and it just didn't work again, let's learn it definitively this time. Let's not have to relearn every time. This is not the right kind of client. When I let this go, it always turns into a problem. Whatever you needed to learn from this stuff, I said yes to too many meetings, whatever is the thing, note that down, because that's going to be an action step for you for next year. Don't keep doing the same over and over again and expect a different result. What will you leave in 2023? You've identified what sucks and what you do not want to drag in there with you. So this can be anything from a belief to a person, to a way of working, to an offer, like whatever you want to stop doing that no longer serves you, you are invited, you have permission if you need it, to leave that in 2023. What do you want to take into 24? Because it's working, let's make sure that we identify what that is. What can you continue? That was great, let's keep doing it. Complete, dadgummit, I have this amazing thing. I have a book that is not finished yet. And I'm going to drag that unfinished ass project into 2024. So what can you complete or improve in the next year? I want you to take a moment, big deep breath, and imagine it's this very day 1 year from today. And something is true. So I want you to just close your eyes and imagine it's that day. And imagine in the present tense what is true for you. What do you choose to be true? So before you open your eyes, before you write anything, I just want you to take the time to be like, what's true? Okay? So just imagine and be with that. What's it like to work in your business? I always like to look at things like, how old will you be? Will your kids be home in the house? Will your aging pet no longer be with us? Will we have a different person running the country or your state? Will you live in the house you live in or the place you live? Will you live somewhere else? Some things are known and definitely true. This year, next year, I will be 1 year older, God willing. And some things you get to make true. So it's 2024 and I am. So just repeat that in your mind. How do you feel? I am excited. I'm delighted. I'm overjoyed. And then just free write. Best by hand, unless you're a consistent typist like me, but like just free write. Like what comes to mind? What's true? In your life, in your business, in your health, in your love life, in your bank account. Here are the things I definitely want you to write. This is what I definitely choose to have be true. This is what I definitely do not want. So go for those high emotional or very clear. You can work on the middle ground later, but like, by God, this better be happening and this better not be happening. What are you done with? And what are you like? More of that. So one thing we get to do in this is we get to kind of put an intention into practice. And so I want you to think about the thing that you really intend for next year. And here's what happened. Here's what has happened so far this year. So if I'm like, I intend that I'm going to be speaking on 3 stages this year, and meaning this coming year, then when I write it down, this year I was delighted to speak on 3 stages, and they weren't just any stages. One was at the et cetera. You're not just intending. When we intend, we launch something in the universe. We launch our creation in the universe. We launch our idea, our wish, our hope. We launch that, but when we get the spark of the idea. And then you energize it as you bring it more clearly into focus. And when we do a vision statement like this, we tell the universe quite specifically how we want that intention to be fulfilled. When I place my order, this is exactly how I want it to show up. I'll recognize it because it's going to show up this way. And the more clear you can be about it, the more likely you are to energize it and therefore make it happen. The language of the universe, a lot of us know, the language of the universe is emotion. And so the universe is communicating with us through emotion. And so when you have a big feeling about something, you're launching a creation. So I want you to think about the things that you have a lot of energy around and a lot of clarity around. Like this, I see myself doing this. Those things I see people bringing into being. What I will focus on is here's how I want to feel. I want to feel excited every day. I want to look at my calendar and be like, oh, yes, awesome. I get to meet with them today. That kind of clarity, it doesn't have to have specifics around it, but I know how I want to feel. So instead of saying I'm going to live in a house, it'll be red, it'll be on the ocean or on the side of the ocean, we'll have a Tesla in the driveway, we're going to have like 2 dogs and if I don't have those specifics because I feel like, I don't know, surprise me. What I do have is, here's what it's going to feel like inside of there. It's going to feel cozy and beautiful, and the sounds of laughter will be going through the room. It'll be a place that I wake up every day and think, oh my gosh, seriously, we're so blessed. So that's different ways that you can put specificity into this vision. How many times do I have someone say to me, of my clients who say, this is the house I imagined when I decided we were going to move across the country. This is the work that I wanted, I hoped I'd be doing when I left my corporate job. This is what I wanted very often. So you can have what you want. And what I'll say to my clients, one of the things that's really important here is I'll have a client who's on a roll and I'll say to them, okay, you're hot right now. You're getting what you want a lot right now. And so what you need to do is pause and say your intention. Like get really clear about what you want because you're getting it. I've gotten to say this to myself recently. Okay, things that you want are happening. Notice when things that you want are happening. Don't do this when things that you want are not happening. If things that you want are not happening, you need to get to neutral. But when you notice, oh, wow, I'm on a roll. That's interesting. Then just take a minute and be like, okay, here's what I want. Here's what I want to see next. And then you're going to do a miniature version of this exercise. At the bottom of your paper, or as a little asterisk around where you have this vision written down, I want you to add, or something better. This or something even better. That's where we allow the universe to surprise us. I once heard this quote, I wish I remembered who said it. I want to have God-sized goals. I want to have the goals that God would have for me. I can't even imagine the kind of things that the universe can imagine for me. And so if I leave or something better, I leave room for universal blessing, like for myself to be surprised, for my mind to be blown, which we've had. We've had our mind blown. Anything can happen. Launch an intention and just see what happens. don't put caps on what is possible for you. How do we get there? How do I get to that place? Call it in. So what do I want you to know? I'm working with people a lot and we're talking about stuff. We're talking about what's going on with them. We're talking about here's what I have and here's what I want and here's what I don't want. If we're talking and I can't figure out what you want, then the universe can't either. So what I've said before to clients is, if I were the universe, I wouldn't know what to give you. So we want to get to a place where what we want is on a Post-it. It will fit on a Post-it. Here's what I'm bringing in. Here's my number one intention, my number one desired outcome for my business next year. I know we wrote the whole vision statement and now it needs to go on a Post-it, not a Post-it, a Post-it. I'm showing you the Post-it that your intention, desire, your number one outcome needs to fit on. Do I actually live this in my life? There's my Post-it, y'all. This is mine. Write what you want on Post-it so that you can say to the universe. I had a friend visiting who's a business owner and I said, what do you want? And she was like, well, I want to have this and this. And I was like, I don't understand what that is. And she said, I want 20K a month, a consistent revenue, recurring, and I don't want to have to work hard for it. Good. Now I know. But how does that happen? That's not your business. Guess what? That's my business. I know how to do that. When somebody comes to me and they say, I want to have 20K a month, recurring, and I don't want to have to work hard for it. I'm like, cool. Here's what we can do. Here's option one. Oh, you don't like that part? Okay, how about this one? How about this one? I'm a creative person. We can find a way to make this work for you. Also, I work exclusively with consulting businesses, so I can tell you what has literally worked for somebody else that will work for you. I want everybody to love everything they're doing. I want us to all be able to deliver our divine gifts however we do that. Hey, I hope you loved the clips that you saw and that you feel energized just as we all did after that session. You know, on the one hand, it's like, whoo, that was a lot. And on the other, it's like, wow, I'm so excited about my business now. If you want to bring that kind of excitement into your business and you want to join me for a future session, then here's what you need to do. Reach out to me through my socials. You're probably connected with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, any of those. Send me a private message and just let me know that you want next year to be completely different and you want to bring more money and joy into your business. I'll make sure that you get an invitation to our next one. And speaking of which, invitations, I'm inviting you to subscribe and turn on your notifications because we are about to enter season 17 and you're going to want to follow along because the theme this season is going to be expansion. It's actually also my word for the year. And so I'm going to be so excited to share with you all of the things that expansion means for consultants. And with that, I'm wishing you a profitable and joyful consulting business.